Have you noticed the recent shift to being vulnerable on social media and in marketing across the board? It kind of makes me wonder what everyone was being before. But anyways, before you bare your soul on YouTube or any other platform as part of your marketing strategy, consider this. While vulnerability has merit for its ability to connect, it can backfire by coming across as a blubbering mess of emotion if it's not balanced with trust. A delicate mix of vulnerability and trust, along with credibility and entertainment, develops a complete character in people's minds. Providing a well-rounded presentation of yourself goes a long way to develop a lasting relationship with your audience, rather than settling for a one-off emotional-induced sale. Something can feel like it's missing for your audience, even if you share your deepest, darkest secrets. And in many cases, a lot of that stuff is irrelevant, unwelcome, and far from constructive for building a lasting relationship. You can make sure that your copy provides a balance of credibility, entertainment, trust, and vulnerability by using a character diamond to chart the aspects of yourself you choose to share with the world as part of representing your brand. Now, when you're charting a character diamond, vulnerability is balanced with trust on a delicate emotional axis, while the intellectual axis balances credibility with entertainment. Now, we've touched on the imbalance vulnerability and trust can cause by talking about, oh, if you're just a blubbering mess on your social media, but you don't have any credibility, that's not going to do you any good. But I want to also give you some insight into balancing credibility with entertainment. So let's imagine that a scientist, some brilliant guy somewhere, finds the cure for cancer, and he decides to independently market, I think that might be a big mistake right there, but he decides to independently market his newfound cure instead of selling it to Big Pharma. Well, that makes me like him already. Now, it's pretty safe to assume that this scientist would over-deliver on the geeky science part, right? He would perfectly define the molecular structure and the mechanics of how the drug dismantles cancerous cells. He'd list all the prestigious schools that he'd graduated from and describe the scientific principles that were the backbone of his discovery. Now, when it comes to his credibility, this guy would be a boss, right? But a guy in a lab coat talking about cells would be far more warmly received if he also entertained our minds and our hearts with visions of a cancer-free world in which our afflicted loved ones live to love another day. Now, can you see how just a few images or a video clip or even just a single story of someone that he had healed would let us, the audience, see the difference that his discovery has made in his patients' lives and the lives of their families? That would pull us into his world, have us ready to support his cause, and hit the buy now button right away. That's the magic of balancing credibility with entertainment. Now, given the tiniest bit of a story to feel into, our brains will superimpose ourselves into the circumstance of the characters, and then we become invested. That's why it works. In order to fully get a brand, the audience needs clarity of where it stands in all four of these areas. That's why it's useful to chart a character diamond for all the voices that represent your brand. To make it easy for you, I created a character diamond template and a tutorial video. You can find that over at characterdiamond.com. So before you bear it all in your marketing, let's answer this question. How much of me, how much of yourself should show up in your marketing? We all need to come up with our own answer to that question, but I want to give you the guidelines for what I'm personally willing to share in our copy, just in case it helps you make your decisions. Now, how much is less important than how genuine you are, right? People can sniff out when you're stretching the truth, and they'll know if something is off. So be real. That's definitely number one. Now, how much of you share might change over time, right? So someone who opts in for something free, they're probably not going to get to see nearly as much of you as those who've enrolled in, let's say, a live weekend workshop or something like a teleclass where you're interacting with them. If they have a long-term coaching with you or they subscribe to Products for Life, those people are going to learn a lot more about maybe your kids, your family, your husband. You're going to let them see a lot more as they progress through your funnel and through interactions with your brand, right? It should develop just like a natural relationship. Now, progression of what's revealed should be deeper, not different. So as an audience progresses closer to you, yes, they get to see more of you, but it should be the same mission, right? It should be the same you. They should just be getting closer to you, right? Nothing should conflict as they're drawn closer to you in your marketing. The next thing would be to create healthy boundaries. A solid brand leader will walk their talk. That means living according to the values declared by you and your brand. And I get that you have a life outside of your brand that's completely private, and it should be as private as you want it to be. But to fulfill the need of creating vulnerability without exposing the personal things that you feel are off limits, the character diamond will come really in hand for that, right? It'll be clear that you're willing to share certain stories and not others. There's no need to post your wedding pics if that's not your style, right? The next thing is to think of your marketing as a direct conversation with a single person who'd benefit from what you've got to offer. This prevents the interactions from being transactions. Trust that the transactions will happen at the point of sale, after you've interacted in such a way that invites the person to relate with you. Have fun with it. When you take on marketing as a way of relating to another human on the other end of this copy, well, then you show up. It's a lot more fun and it's a lot more natural sound to everything that you're putting out in the world.